Welcome back to another episode of All the Mod 7. Now, you might notice a lot of things might be a little bit different. Maybe we got a new house, maybe a little bit. Maybe I moved into the lighthouse. Maybe that's exactly what I did. Okay, so I moved into the lighthouse and I even got my little balcony right here. You can kind of see, if we walk up here, you can see this. We got my bonsai pot. Right now, this has an alvamodium axe in it, which is indestructible, so it just constantly breaks these things and fills this up the way I wanted to. No need for me to have 3 now. I mean, come on, look at this. This is crazy. I do want to get some oranges out of this, but I'm not worried about it right now. It's nighttime, so I'm going to come over here and we're going to go to sleep for the night. And now I get to show y'all what this actually looks like out here. So if I fly out, here is our new humble abode here that I've got going on here. It's pretty nice, I'm not gonna lie, but the only problem now that I don't know what I'm gonna do is I actually don't know how I'm gonna build here. This is gonna be interesting for me. Now, one of the biggest reasons why I built in the city and everything was because the city was very easy. Like really easy for me to build because everything was already pre-built. And I mean, this nice little house is really nicely built and everything, but as you see, I got some elevators in the house so that way I can quick teleport where I want to, up and in and out. I've already set up a really weird system here for my power, which is all the way at the top there. I'm not going to fly back up there, but well, I guess I could show you. At the very top, I actually have my wind turbines up here generating me some power. So that's cool. And I also set my home up so I have the home teleport right here. And anytime I want to get down to the base, I can just, oh, hello! That was not what I wanted today. Hello, that scared me. I hear an Enderman. So one thing about this house though, is that there is a lot of under the ground type things. And I don't know how I feel about that. There's stuff under here and kind of in it, and you can kind of see it on the mini map. Is that a bee? Oh, I might like to do bee? Bee! Okay, the bee died. I would like to do a couple of things here, but first up, let's talk about everything that I did while I was gone. So obviously I moved. That definitely happened. And you might could tell that I have a new set of armor. Yes, I have a complete set of all the modium armor here. I had so much and I didn't even realize this, but I'm not sure if they intentionally meant to do this or not, but you can make this with or without the netherite boots. I'm probably going to let them know about this just to kind of give them a heads up, because I do think it probably is supposed to have netherite boots, which isn't really difficult to get when you have the potion and stuff. But I went ahead and made myself a full set of the armor. It's looking good. I also went and farmed out actually a bunch of stuff just so I can make sure my episodes are going smoothly and I don't have to go and stop and grab a bunch of stuff. So I grabbed a bunch of iron. I grabbed a bunch of nether quartz, which is actually very easy with the Lost City stuff because there's just so many blocks of quartz in the cities. It was just super easy. We're looking pretty good. Now, if you don't know about these elevators, if you don't know about them, they're actually very easy to make. So if we look up elevator, it's the elevator mod. This is a throwback to, I think it was open blocks back in the day. This where this came from, but basically it's just an ender pearl surrounded by white wool, and you can actually color these. If you right click them with a block, it actually covers it up. So that way it can show, like this one's not covered up, but if we go back to the base one, I've got this one colored to be like the oak planks. So that way, at least I know where it's at in my house. So like if I put it right here, it'd be hard for me to know which one it is because it's oak planks. I stole one of the blocks from up there and used it. So today is going to be very interesting because there's multiple things that I think we can get started with. I do want to get started with bees, which is actually very difficult to get started with because we need some bees and it takes some time in the beginning. So what I actually plan on doing is let's plan on doing both bees and getting started with at least a small inferium farm. I think we have enough flat land over here that maybe we can set up something. Do I have any waystones? I have a waystone. I wonder if I can find another waystone. I've also made myself a bunch of different sites so I can go and farm a bunch of different things if I need to. I messed up and yeah, I didn't do what I was supposed to with the cardboard box. I accidentally broke my blaze spawner, so we're gonna have to reset that up. And I just don't know really where to put it. I'm not sure at all. I think what I might end up doing is breaking this out underneath here and then continuing the elevator down. I see a lot of people do that, so maybe that's what we'll do. Alas, we need to get started on making ourselves a farm. Now, this doesn't have to be anything crazy. It could just be a basic inferium farm, and it doesn't have to be automated just yet. But I do want to set this up to maybe potentially eventually get this thing to be automated. So maybe we flatten some land out, or maybe I think we just put the farm over there, block it off, make a little bridge from here to there. That would be really, really cool. And get a small inferium farm going. So first up, let's go back to the house. Let's go ahead and make ourselves a bunch of inferium seeds. So I'm going to need a bunch of wheat seeds, which is actually pretty easy. I think I can make wheat seeds out of wheat, right? Hello? Can I do this? I don't think I can make wheat seeds out of, maybe it's 2. Hold on, is it 2? Nope, that's flour. Okay, well, I guess not. We just get wheat from it and we'll just bone meal this, which, speaking of which, we need to grab some bones. I'm going to throw this in the pulverizer so that way it breaks it down into way more bone meal. Let's grab out all the inferium essence that we have right now. And we're going to need some dirt. That's what we're going to need. Where's our dirt? We're going to grab our dirt. I'm just going to go ahead and make myself an all-the-modium hoe because why not? Bam! Okay, so we have the hoe. This is actually getting crunched down into some bone meal. Anything else in here that I could use? I don't think so, but I do believe I actually got some honey on my travels. I did, so I can actually use this to make myself a beehive, I believe, the original beehive. So we can at least get started with some bees. So let's look up beehive here. Let's check this out real quick. We have, oh, yep, it just literally takes some birch planks and some. That's easy. That's super easy. Let's go ahead and make this real quick. So that way we can at least get some bees started. I've actually never played with productive bees at all. So I thought that was pretty interesting that it actually requires you to do like the base things, which is pretty cool to me. So from here, I'm not going to use this anymore, even though I have the crafting table right here. The reason being is that thing is actually slower than I would like it to be. We're going to go ahead and start out by making us some inferium seeds here. So bam, inferium seeds. I'm going to double check and look in here because if you do check this out, we have food and farming here, which the fruit upgrades here. Oh, it gives us honeycomb? I did not know that. Okay. I even made this and I forgot that it gives you honeycomb. That's dope. But we do have mystical agriculture here. This is kind of where it starts and this is where we're at. I'm going to have to add some rewards to this because right now there are no rewards at all. And getting started in the beginning, having rewards and having something is always a good thing. So maybe I'll redo this as we go along. Okay, looks like we have 8 inferium seeds. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and take 8 pieces of dirt here. We're going to put it right here. We're going to take some inferium essence and then our hoe right here. And that will make us inferium farmland. You don't have to have these on inferium farmland. I think these grow on the plain farmland, but having the farmland like inferium and then it goes produncium or something like that, whatever the next tier is, it actually increases the amount of inferium that you get out of the harvest. So that's kind of important. And also something to note is that they actually set it to where you will not get extra seeds whenever you harvest these things. So that's very, very important. I think you can set that in the config, but I'm going to play it like they want to design it in the mod pack. So that's what I'm going to do. So I will need to be grabbing some more seeds, which I can just bone meal out here and grab it. So I'm just going to set this up over here. Grab a thing of water real quick. Let's clear out this land. Hello, donkey. Hello? I'll eat my apple real quick, but what is that? Donkey, do you know what this is? Donkey, do you want to be my friend? What do donkeys like? Do they like carrots? I don't have any carrots, but I don't want to kill you, and I kind of like that you're here. Do you want to? Hello? Okay, there's a chicken. I'm sorry, but I like chickens more. But I'll leave you be, but you kind of gotta move out of the way so I can make my farmland. Okay, we need to light this place up. It's getting nighttime. Okay, I'm not gonna do anything crazy here. Okay, I'm not gonna do anything crazy at all. Let's line this up. We want to line this up to be right there. All right, and now that we have that, we're gonna go ahead and plant our inferium seeds here. Why do I have so many seeds? Hello. Okay, so now that the zombie has beaten me into submission, let's go back into making a bunch of these seeds. See, it does grow on the normal side. So now we have a little farm going here, nothing too crazy. I don't really actually need to grow anything else that I know of. I guess, isn't flax actually really good for getting string? Industrial hemp is actually really good for getting string, but I don't think there's really anything else that I need to grab. I think I might need these demon dream seeds. Hello, sir. I have no clue what demons, whatever this stuff is, but I heard occultism is pretty cool. Donkey! We probably need to grab some wood, make some fences, fence this off, light this up, make sure nothing happens. We're gonna go ahead and claim this land. Now, if you're wondering why I'm claiming this on a single player server, excuse you, if you're wondering why I'm claiming this on a single player server, it's actually because if you claim these lands by default, the way it used to be, I'm not sure if it's like this now, but by default, when you claim the land, it actually makes it where creepers, when they blow up, they won't destroy or damage the blocks. I don't know if they'll still damage these or not, but oh well, it works. Question is, how am I gonna get that donkey back home? I wanna take donkey back home. All right. This is all lit up now, and I think we're doing, hello, there's so many just random mobs out here, hello. Okay, we're going home and we're grabbing some fences. So these chests are actually really easy to upgrade. As you can see, I made this one diamond, but I'm gonna go ahead and upgrade these real quick. So we're gonna do a stick, we're gonna do redstone torch, and we're gonna surround the redstone torch in gold. Since it's already iron, this is actually really easy to upgrade. So just shift click, break the torch, and there we go, we're upgraded. So I'm going to get into refined storage, but not just yet. We'll do that a little bit later. I want to get this probably set up. What I'll probably do is we'll do the farm and then we'll do refined storage right afterwards. As you see, I have a stack upgrade in here. And what this does is it actually makes everything inside of it stack higher than 64. You can actually see this happening over here in my stack upgrade tier 2. These are relatively simple to make, but they essentially make it where, just like in the sophisticated backpacks, it can stack to a higher amount. So this is about 4 times. Is that 4? Am I doing the math correctly? 4 times, something like that. Yep, 4 times the amount here. Math. Listen, I'm from Alabama. I'm technically from Georgia. I don't think that really matters too much because education is not the greatest time. Anyway, 256 is the stack limit on this one. So it actually holds a whole heck of a lot, which is real nice. We are going to need some bees. That's going to be fun. I've got to find me some bees. But like I said, we're here to make fences. So let me grab some more of this out right here and let's make a bunch of fences. And I'm going to go ahead and fence that entire place off. Hello? All right, it's nice and fenced off here. Nothing special, nothing crazy. As you see, I think we lost Donkey. I guess it's not the worst thing in the world to lose Donkey, but you know, sometimes we just gotta cut our losses and move forward. Oh, Donkey. All right, let's set this sucker up here, okay? So here's what we're gonna do. We don't want these guys to burn. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna dig a hole, diggy hole right here. We're gonna put a campfire right there, okay? We're gonna put here, put here, put here, put here, and then we're gonna put this right here, okay? This is gonna be our little setup. We need to cover this up. I don't think I have a trap door on me, but I think I can make one pretty simple. All right, so that way they won't burn. This is smoked. That way we don't have to worry about anything, but just open this up. I think the trapdoor works here. I'm not 100% sure. But this way, when we get bees in here and we do happen to shear it to get some more honeycombs for the start, this works out. We do need some bees though. That's kind of important. Nothing's gonna happen with this thing being right here without bees. Okay, that's kind of important. So let's go get us some bees. I actually just realized that because of the 2 honeycomb that we got right here, we can actually make ourselves the advanced oak beehive. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab this and we're just going to use this to make our advanced oak beehive, which I think we need, it said we needed shears and a campfire. All right, step 1, make the campfire. Step 2, make the advanced oak beehive. And this, now I've never used this before, not once. There's no quest line or anything, so I'm just gonna have to learn this as I go, and then as I learn it, I will be making the quest. Now, I have already started on my multiplayer server on doing bees and stuff, so I do know a little bit on how to get started, and the quest line is kind of a work in progress, so that's something good to know. But now we can go out here. We don't even need this campfire anymore, so we're just gonna break that real quick. And then let's just place our advanced oak beehive right here. So this thing, all we have to do is actually just place the bees directly in here, or the bees will go in and out. We just have to have them flying nearby, and it will produce honeycombs over time inside of here, and we could just grab the honey out. So we just need some bees, and I'm gonna go ahead and set up some flowers right here. So that way the bees don't really go too far. And I believe this thing can hold 3 bees at a time. So that's cool. So let's, we need to make ourselves something called a bee cage. which is actually really simple to make if you have the honey bottles. Now, we don't have the honey bottles. We don't have a singular honey bottle. So I'm going to have to take our bottle out with me, and we can make this on the go. And let's go see if we can find us some bees. Now, if you remember in the last episode, I don't know why this is set to nighttime. If you remember in the last episode how I said that everything was just plains. As you can see, this is mostly just plains. But you see this line right here where it changes? That is where I changed the biome to be different. So that way that the biome can actually be spawn mountains and stuff. But all where you see where these lines are right here are they're just all plains. There's nothing but plains right here, which is actually really good because that means we can find bees easier. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to find us some bees. Hello, piggy. Right by our old house, we have a bee nest, which is great. Can I get some honey? No honey from this one, so that's not going to work out. But I do want these beautiful bees. Come home with me. I wish I could just shove them in the glass bottle, but I think that would probably not be a good idea. Oh, well, I guess we'll have to find some more bees somewhere. Is that a bee? That is a big old bee. Dear God. It's a bumblebee. Bro, you are thick. You are thick with it. Where do you live at? Where's your home? You are thick. Okay, that man just disappeared over here. What? A bumblebee nest? Okay, I haven't seen that before. So I am back at the house because I need to charge this, but just so y'all know, if you did not know this, I actually found this out the other day when I was playing on my multiplayer server. Your jetpack can actually go on your body right here in the body slot. So that way it doesn't take up a chest piece. I didn't know this because I had the curios up and I shift clicked it and I didn't know that it went in here. I thought it went on my back and I thought I had lost it. I was like, oh my God, where's my jetpack at? And needless to say, I found it in the curios, and it makes it so much better because now you could actually use armor on top of having a jetpack. So I'm just home to charge this real quick. I also wanted to talk about the fact that I made a magnet. This thing is super easy to make. Ender pearl, lapis, and some redstone. Now this is really great because when you're killing things, when you're breaking things, when you're doing all these different things, especially when you're in the nether and you don't want that stuff to fall in the lava, a magnet will suck up anything within 5 blocks. It also sucks up XP, which is really nice. And it makes sure that you have it, which is really, really nice to have. You definitely want to have one of these on you. It's totally worth it. I promise you. Continuing our journey to find a beehive that has some honey in it, which I think is actually difficult because of single player. Now, single player, if you're not near the chunk, it actually doesn't generate. So those bees won't actually be floating around. And they won't actually be generating anything while I'm away. So hopefully I can I don't know if it works like this, but maybe I can find a beehive that's already filled with honey. I don't know if it generates that way or not, but I'm just going to check it out. Oh, we got another chunky bumblebee. Where are you at? Where's your hole in the ground? I know you live on the ground, bro. Show me your home. He's so thick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and chunk claim these right here. And then keep these things force loaded. So that way these bees can generate me some more honey. Let's just go home. Let's go ahead and get started with refined storage. Now, this mod is not as difficult as it seems. Lots of people are going to argue whether you should do AE2 or refined storage, and there are plenty of good arguments for both. Applied Energistics 2 is usually better to go, especially towards the late game, because it does a little bit better, it works a little bit better, it works a little bit faster, there's more things you can do with it, and it's pretty cool. But the problem with AE2 is that it's a little complicated to get started. You have to find meteorites, you have to find inscriber presses, you have to inscribe things, you have to press them, and up until you get lazier AE2, which is part of the mod, it just it's a little tedious, and it's not very user friendly in the beginning. And this is why I usually start refined storage in the beginning. Now, there's nothing wrong with refined storage to start with, but just make sure that you're not slinging all of your random items into your storage, especially those with NBT tags. So it's okay if it's like iron and everything like that, but if you have a bunch of custom things with something like maybe a custom sword with an NBT tag on it, or maybe a bunch of different random items that you get from your mob farms. Those can definitely end up corrupting your server, corrupting your files, and you might lose the progress that you have if you don't have backups. So keep this in mind whenever you do this. Now, AE2, from what I hear, is pretty good about this because of the data types. It can also corrupt the same way if you're doing that, and it's just making sure, make sure not to throw a bunch of random items in there and use your storage for what it's actually for, and that's for all of your tons of items. Here's what we're gonna do. We've got to get started. And now if you check in the quest book, I haven't touched refined storage in the quest book yet, but I will be redoing this a little bit to make this a little bit easier and feel more of a quest line instead of it just being like, oh, here's all of the items. That's really my goal in the quest lines, is to make it feel more like a quest line and make it feel more like, hey, maybe I don't know this mod. What should I do? How should I do these things? What should I do with them? Right now, this is great, especially if you're new, you're gonna get lost a little bit because it takes you from the controller to the pattern, and you're like, what's a pattern? I don't know what a pattern is. And it says used to tell crafters how to craft items. Now, this is great if you have a little knowledge about it, but it doesn't really feel like a quest line. That's my current goal. For all of these mods, all of these things, especially right now, I've got a couple things that I've been working on, like Tinker's Construct. I want it to feel like an actual quest line and you're unlocking things and to feel good as you go along. So I will be taking a look at something like refined storage and especially bees. And, you know, we've got a mine colony was one that I'm going to be working on to kind of get things working through. But for right now, let's get started with refined storage. So the very first quest is about making a controller. We need quartz enriched iron. We need a machine casing, we need advanced processors, and we need pretty much that. So let's see, quartz enriched iron is just quartz and iron. That's super simple to make. I already know the silicone. I don't know what it's meant to be. I've heard people call it silicone. I've heard people call it silicon. I've heard Silicon Valley, Silicon Valley. There's no E at the end of silicone. Like if we go and we smelt these and we take a look, it's silicon, right? So who said silicone? Were they like hungry for maybe like Sonic's conies? Like their conies are pretty good though, I ain't gonna lie. I'll make a bunch of these anyway, because we're gonna need them. And I think we said we needed an advanced processor. Same thing here. Diamond, redstone, processor binding. Let's go ahead and check out what a processor binding is. Slime ball and flax string or some kind of string. So let's grab that out. All right, let's go ahead and make these processor bindings. I'm gonna make about half because I don't really need a whole ton. And then let's go ahead and make some of these. So we only need one for the time being. So we need diamond and redstone. Let's go ahead and grab all of our diamonds and redstones out because we're going to need them. And let's go ahead and make this advanced processor. As you see, I'm going to have to take this and I'm going to have to smelt it as well. And that way it will give me a advanced processor I can use to make this. So let's get back into it. So machine casing, this is very simple. It takes quartz enriched iron all the way around it and polished deep slate or some kind of stone. I'm going to grab the andesite out. I don't know if it needs stone or cobblestone, so we're just going to grab it like this. Make a bunch of this quartz enriched iron, make a ton so we can go ahead and have that going for us. Machine casing here, and then now we should have everything to make the controller. Now the controller doesn't do anything by itself. When you first make this, nothing really happens. It's just a controller. That's all it is. Now I'm going to set this up right over here where this bookcase is. So bam. Now it does need power to work, and we're going to set that up here in a little bit. Let's go ahead and set this up as if I was going to make a complete refined storage set. And then let's keep going. Let's go back to that quest line and see what we got. I do like the rewards on here because it gives you a random amount of either silicon or the quartz enriched iron, which is really nice to get the extra stuff. Here, it points us in different directions. We have a wrench here, we have cables, we have patterns, and we have a grid. And we also see up here, we have the storage housing open. Again, there's no direct line that says, okay, this is how you do this. This is how you store this. So I'm going to be changing this up a little bit. But first, let's go ahead and make ourselves a grid. A grid is exactly what it says it is. It lets you access everything within refined storage. So that's what we're going to grab. So we're going to go ahead and make this as well. Now, I'm not going to place this grid down because I already know what I want to do with this a little bit later on. So the grid allows you to access your storage, and we don't have any storage in there or anything like that right now. But what we do need is what I want next, which is the crafting grid. This is the next line right here. And what it does is essentially, instead of just a grid to access it, allows you to craft and pull things within your network, which is super important. So we're going to go ahead and hit A here so I can see the recipe. We're going to get rid of the grid because I don't need that right now. and let's check out the recipe. So the recipe is actually very easy. We need a crafting table, an advanced processor, which the advanced processor is the one that takes diamonds. So let's go ahead and make one of those, throw that in a smelter, break this crafting table so we can use it. And then we're gonna go ahead and make this. So this one can actually be made just like this. And there we go, we have a crafting grid. We do want to make this wireless crafting grid, but I'm gonna hold off on making that for now because we're gonna have to make a couple of things to get that working. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete this, and we're gonna go ahead and put the crafting grid down. I'm gonna put it right there. Now, like I said, this doesn't have power, so you're not actually seeing anything that's happening here. We'll get it some power in a little bit, but I wanna continue making and setting this up first. Let's go ahead and make the next thing, which is actually a storage housing. Now, you don't have to follow the quest. You could straight up make a disk drive, which is kind of what we're going for anyway. But let's go ahead and make a storage housing because we're going to need one for everything here in a minute anyway. So let's go ahead and make us 2 of these suckers because I'm going to make myself 2 disks. And then let's go back into those quests and see what we get. So quartz enriched iron, maybe some silicon. We got the quartz enriched iron. That's pretty good. And we're going to make ourselves a disk drive. So all this is just a drive of things that hold your storage items. So these storage housings combine with another Enderman in my damn house. There's another Enderman in the dang house, and I don't know where he's at, and he's kind of mad, and I'm kind of scared. Just fight me, you coward! Okay, where were we at? Something about storage. Okay, so the storage housing is actually used. You combine these with storage parts. So there's different kind of storage parts and everything, but essentially the basic storage part is what you use to store your items. This combines with the storage housing, and then we get a storage disk. So think of these just like a normal disk. It stores data on it, and you place it in a disk drive, and then your controller and your grid, well, technically your grid will read what's in those disks and say, okay, this is the items in there. So it's basically just virtual storage, which is amazing because then you don't have to have all these chests. Now, you could actually use all of these chests. You could use chests, you could use storage drawers like this, and you could actually set all these up to hook up to your system where you can still access it within your grid, and it just reads what's in these drawers or what's in this chest. And I see a lot of people do that too, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's get back into making that disk drive. Now, this one's going to be a little bit more difficult. So let's go ahead and start out by making ourselves the machine casing because we're going to need that. And then let's see what we have. We need a chest. I guess it's not that hard. We also need, what was that, an advanced processor? So bam, we're going to take this disk drive and we're going to place it right here beside it. Now notice I am connecting these because they do all need to be connected, and that's kind of important. So keep that in mind with your storage stuff. It either needs to be connected together like this, or it has to have some piping and stuff. So that way it tells it that it's a part of the network. Now I need to be making myself some components. So let's go ahead and grab the storage housing that we get from here. And let's take a look at these components. Now, I don't need fluid right now. I'm just going to take a look at the 1K storage part, but I'm going to go ahead and do myself a favor and check out the 4K and even the 16K. So if you've ever done AE2, you know how this works. AE2 and refined storage are very similar in the sense that you make yourself one 1K storage part, right? But if I want to have a bigger storage drive than just 1000, I have to make 3 of these because 1 times 3 is 4, right? That's how it makes sense. You have 3 storage parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4 makes complete sense. Listen, I'm in Alabama and that math's still ain't adding up. I don't know what's going on here. We're going to make ourselves 3 of these storage parts. So we're going to need a total of 9 1K storage parts, which we don't have 9 storage parts because I think we're actually missing glass, which that is what we're missing. Let's go ahead and grab some more out. And let's go ahead and make us enough to make 9. There's exactly 9. So from here, we can make these 4K storage parts, which we need ourselves some basic processors. And now we should be able to make 3 of these 4K storage parts. Just like we're following that math, 4 times 3 equals 16. I'm just saying there's something definitely off here. I don't know. And now we can make ourselves this 16K storage part. I'm not going much further than this. I'm just going to go ahead and put this in a storage housing here. And we're going to go ahead and put this in my disk drive. Now, there is a priority system. There's a lot of things you could do with this. So this bar right here shows exactly how full your storage system is. So when you start putting stuff in here and power it up, that's what it's going to look like. So now is the time to actually start powering this stuff up. We need wireless power. I think it's okay now for us to go ahead and start making some wireless power. I think it actually makes a ton of sense to make wireless power at this point in time. And the best way to do that is through Flux Networks. Flux Networks is insane. It is absolutely insane how to do that. We needed a bunch of ender pearls for exactly this. Man, there's so many things we could do. We're going to take some redstone out, and we're actually going to go and get 2 stacks of redstone here. And we're going to need some obsidian. Let's go check on our bees real quick. Please give me honey. Ah! Can I get honey from you? Oh, are you going to bring back honey? Come on. You got this. You got this. Come on. Bring it back. Bring it home. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh. Oh. Ah! All right. So if we want to get started with Flux Networks, we actually have to go all the way down to bedrock. I'm gonna do that, and then from there I'll show you guys what we're gonna do. Since I'm basically invincible, we're just gonna dig straight down because that's very smart. Okay, so let me show you how this works. First off, let's turn off my magnet here. So we're gonna right click here, and next up we're gonna place a piece of obsidian right here. So I'm gonna try and do this so that way I don't actually mess up here and throw things everywhere the wrong way. So I'm gonna go ahead and take 2 stacks of this and throw it out here right there underneath it, and then I'm gonna right click, left click. Okay, so we're going to left click the obsidian, and that will crush all of this down into flux dust, which is exactly what I need to make the stuff. Slash home, and let's get started making what we need for Flux Networks. So we're gonna go ahead and hit A on the block, A on the plug, A on the point, A on the flux controller. Okay, so I know I'm gonna need some ender pearls, so let's grab some of that out. Let's grab these ender pearls that I have out, and let's start getting, let's get started. So the first thing I wanna make is we need a flux plug. So what this does is basically says, okay, so any energy that goes into here, I want to spread it out into my network. And basically we'll create our network. So we're gonna hit R here to get the recipe, and we see that first off, this is too large of a, we need a crafting table, but we need to make these flux cores. And these cores are made with obsidian and flux dust. So let's go ahead and jump into a crafting table real quick, and let's make the flux core. So I need an eye of ender. I'm gonna throw these in the pulverizer because they actually turn into 3 blaze powders per rod. And I'm just gonna go ahead and make as many of these as I possibly can. So while that's smelting down or breaking down, let's go ahead and get back in here and make ourselves the eye of ender. We're gonna need a couple of these. Since we only have 7, we're just gonna go ahead and make the 7. And then we're gonna go ahead and make, let's go ahead and just make one of these cores real quick and see if we can make the flux plug. So we need a flux block, which is actually 4 flux cores and then flux dust. So let's go ahead and make that. And then we're gonna go ahead and make ourselves 4 more of these flux cores. So now we should be able to make the plug, which we can, which that makes things very simple. So let me show you how this works. So we're gonna shift click it right here so that it attaches to my basic energy cube, which I don't really like it right here, to be honest with you, but we're just gonna do this for the time being. So if we right click it, what we're gonna do is we're going to go ahead and create ourselves a new network, which is this button right here. So we're gonna click this. It could just be Alfred GG's network. Nobody else is playing on my server because it's single player. So I could just go ahead and I guess I actually, can we just change the security type? So we're just gonna type in a password and we're gonna click create. So there we go. We have a network. It automatically put us on network selection. And we're just gonna click on network right here. So that basically makes it where now I have a network. All right, so now that it's set up like that, we're gonna need somewhere for this to go. Now, I know that this is gonna pull power once this is full, just to make sure, but we're gonna go ahead and set up a wireless network for my power. Now, what this does is actually really cool. It'll automatically charge the items in like my jetpack or anything on my hotbar and stuff to automatically charge them. So that way, no matter where I am in the world, it will automatically charge them, even across dimensions. So what we're gonna need is we're actually gonna need that flux controller right here. Now, this is pretty cool. So I don't have to place this anywhere over here. It doesn't actually really matter where I place it. So I'm gonna place it up here because it's wireless, it can actually be controlled via the network right here. So I just click this and now we have the network. So it's connected to the network. This should, when it's set up properly, it should be able to pull from here. And And now let's go ahead and set up our wireless charging in this thing. So we can do armor slots, we can do curio slots, we can do hotbar slots. There's offhand, main hand, and let's click on enable wireless and click apply. And now what this does is if this is supplied with power, which it is, it's now pulling because it needs to pull to charge up my jetpack. You can see on the left side there that it's actually pulling the power wirelessly and charging my jetpack. Now, if this isn't set up properly to something that will power it enough, I will eventually run out. But now, if I go and I fly, my jetpack will be infinitely charged no matter where I go, as long as I have the power to do it. I mean, jetpacks don't really use a whole lot until you get the higher tiers, so this pretty much makes it where I can fly infinitely without having to worry about it. It works across dimensions too, so as long as I have that controller right there, I have wireless power across the dimensions to power my jetpack or anything in my hotbar, or pretty much anything in general, which is really cool. I'm gonna make this even better. So the plug is something you use to pull from power. So let's say you have a giant reactor that's fueling into a giant energy cube that you're storing power with. The plug basically says, okay, this is where I want to pull power from to the network that you're using. But how do we distribute power? So that's what the points are. So these points are exactly what they say. They provide energy to adjacent blocks. So they're basically just wireless power outputs. So if I go over here and I grab myself out some of these blocks of redstone and I go ahead and make myself some more flux cores by doing this. So let's go ahead and make ourselves some more. And now if I go ahead and make myself that flux point right here. Okay, so I'm going to connect it to the controller. We're going to break this block right here and we're going to connect it to the controller right here. And now that it's connected, once I select my network, there we go. We have wireless power. So anything that pulls from this flux point right here, I can even set up cables and everything. I now have an access point to my network of power. And as you see, we have storage here. This is exactly what refined storage is for. It's made to be this power system that basically makes it where it's virtual storage. So you can just plug your stuff in here and all of your stuff will be in here perfectly fine as long as you have a disk to hold it. Now again, fair warning, don't put things in there with like strong NBT values, like a bunch of enchanted swords or something, maybe from mob drops, enchanted bows, stuff like that. Don't do any of that. It's bad for the system and it probably could corrupt your system, so don't do that. But I am going to put all of my normal stuff in here and pretty much empty everything out so I can have it all in one storage. All right, and now everything that I think should go in there that I probably will use for crafting, or maybe I'll need somewhere down the line, is all in here. Anything that I could use for crafting, stuff like that, all of my iron, all of my gold, everything like that, it's all in here for me to quickly access that if I need to crafting. Now let me show you what's cool about this crafting grid. So basically all of my items are stored right here on this storage disk. Now anything that's like excessive that I don't really need, I guess paper can go in there, but anything that's excessive that I don't really need for crafting, maybe some like farming materials, random items, stuff like enchanted books, stuff like that. All of this can stay over here. I don't really want to put those in there because I don't want to end up corrupting my system, and I just want to keep it clean, and this is mostly for crafting. I did end up finding a bunch of inferium that I forgot that I've collected. So I'm going to grab those wheat seeds. I'm going to grab those out, and I'm going to show you what's cool about this. So first off, I'm going to convert all of this into inferium essence. So all those blocks got broken down. I think I compressed those once upon a time, but now I'm just going to go ahead and use this crafting system. I'm going to shove all these in there, and now we have a bunch of inferium essence. And now I can just make myself a bunch of inferium seeds, which is really cool. All right, everything is planted and it looks like we have one inferium already ready to go. Right click and bam, we got inferium. So yeah, this is kind of going to be our little start for the time being. I will automate this process when we get into more serious machinery kind of things like industrial foregoing, stuff like that. Cyclic is removed from all the mod 7. So that means there will not be any item users, anything like that, to be using a watering can. That is completely broken in my opinion, and I agree that it probably should have been taken out in that sense because it essentially just makes it where you can have an infinite farm from the very beginning, and I think that's a little broken. So we're not done with refined storage just yet, but what we're going to do is we're going to make the next step, which is making this a wireless system for me to use. We're going to go ahead and get started with a wireless crafting grid. Now, here's the thing. I could take this crafting grid down, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to make myself a separate one. So I'm going to do it all within the system here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go all the way back. You see, have the crafting grid right here. I know we're going to need the normal grid right here, which takes this. Do I have this recipe right here? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and make myself a machine casing, and I can do all of this within the machine here. I don't actually have to worry about clicking in and out. And as you see, having this crafting grid makes everything so much easier for us to make everything. And it's so easy just to be able to have all of this right here, so we can just click it if it's in our system. No need to go grab it out of chest or anything. And now we have our wireless crafting grid. Now check this out. It's a curio, right? And because we have this wireless system set up right here, if we go to wireless charging and make sure that our hotbar slots are there, it should automatically charge this. It did. It just didn't need to be in my main hand. We've got this fully charged, and what this does is nothing right now because it's not attached to a network. Even if I try to attach this to a network, it's not going to work because we need a wireless transmitter, which this actually unlocks over here. So the Grid Networks explains how you can submit or transmit different information between your networks, but we don't really need that right now. But what we do need is a wireless transmitter. So I'm going to hit A to go ahead and grab that. That's what we're going to go craft. Wireless transmitter. We need machine casing. Must throw that back in there. And then we need an advanced processor. I should make a bunch of these, but for right now, I'm just going to make one at a time. We'll get all that stuff set up a little bit later. So now, wireless transmitter. If you already have all the items, it's so much easier. So I'm going to connect this to my system like this. And now that it's connected, we see that it's about 16 blocks. So if I go right here, I can access everything in my inventory right here. But if I go too far, then there's no wireless transmitter in range. So that's important to note. You can increase these ranges with a range upgrade, which they actually give you one from the beginning in the quest. So I'm going to go ahead and first off hit R on this and then hit A so I can see what it takes to make these. This one right here is for free. So now we get 24 blocks of range, which is dope. Let's see if we can make another one real quick. We're missing an upgrade, which means we're missing an improved processor. So let's go ahead and make 2 of these, and we'll go ahead and increase that range just a little bit more. So throw those in there, and let's go ahead again. Let's make 2 of these. So we should be able to make 1, 2. I think they stack. They do. And then now we can go ahead and make ourselves 2 of these. Now, as you see, when I did that, if it's in my inventory, it won't automatically refill it. So keep that in mind. So we go to the wireless transmitter here and we fill this in, and now we can go 40 blocks out before it stops us, which is great. So we have refined storage set up. We have wireless power set up. We have everything cleared out and put into our crafting grid, which is great. And now we can go catch some bees. Bee! I can't believe. Oh, dude, you just, what, hello? Bee? What are you? Get in the cage. Just get in the cage. You'll thank me later. Okay. Your brother's crazy. Just get in the cage, okay? Now, these bees might be mad, but they have a home. All right, y'all don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere crazy. Y'all like your new beehive, okay? There you go. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. All right, go in your home. Go in your home. Yes! He's in here. And now they just go in here. Once they're in here, they can shake it off and it will produce us some honeycombs over time, which is great. We got bees started. We got inferium growing. We got demon stuff over here. So this is going to wrap up today's episode of our All the Mod 7 playthrough. This was episode 5, and if you did enjoy this, make sure to hit like and subscribe. I hope you really do enjoy these playthroughs because I've been having a blast. It's always really good. We got a lot of really good things done here today, and I'm really excited about it. And we're going to be moving forward now into creating more power and getting started into Mechanism. I actually really like Mechanism. Mechanism is a newer mod to me, but it's been around forever. I've just never done it myself. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next episode.